Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunchtime Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Today, we are going to go through two more of the GM candidates, and it's going to be Jim Harbaugh and Peyton Manning today. And so we got a couple other things. We're going to go over the press conference yesterday with Darrell, Bevell, and Matt Stafford. So we're going to go over that. And before we do all that, though, I got to bring in someone who is absolutely amazing, my co-host, Curt Steele.
Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for the kind words, Jim. Hey, you know what we need you to do. We'd like you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you're tuning in on a regular basis, go ahead and subscribe, please. It helps us get this content to more YouTube viewers just like yourself. And ring the notification bell so you know when you're getting fresh content from us right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Now, let's get this thing started. Right now. Hey, welcome back to the show. It is time to get at these comment cards. Jim, you up first.
Yeah, we got Coyote 5.0. Okay. Problem is this franchise needs to stop trying to be some high-flying team, high-powered offense. It needs to be built Detroit-style, run-first offense with a defensive mindset that looks to destroy their opponents in the trenches. But as long as we keep looking to copy the rest of the league, nothing will change for the better on this team. I've been preaching this for a while now. Forget the Patriot way. Forget the greatest show on turf. Forget, the New Orleans offense. We need the Detroit identity here. We need the hard hat. We need the hard working, and that is the big uglies in the trenches, and that's what we need to build here in Detroit. I totally agree with this, except I'm not going to say that we shouldn't be a high-flying, high-powered offense. I'm not going to say that because this is today's NFL. Right. So I'm not going to say that that's absolutely true. So, that part of it I'm a little bit different about. But I do believe build the trenches first, 100%.
Yeah. The trenches are where you're going to win the games, and those high flying offenses have really good trenches. So that's one thing that helps them fly high, and get them out there on the edges. Like Kansas City, they have a very good offensive line and defensive line. All right, Malik Hayes says Louis Riddick is ready. Look at Mike Mayock out there in Las Vegas. Raiders suck for a while. Now they're looking at a lot better. We need a coach that can help Matt Stafford go to the next level. If you notice, all great players don't do well in the front office. I think Lewis would be good because he played and he also has been around the game via draft and analysis. He knows personnel. I think they're really the one that had the most success, and it was early on, not really a lot lately, is John Elway out in Denver. Won a Super Bowl as president, general manager out there in Denver. So I get you. Sometimes you don't have a lot of success with some of the former players in the front office.
I agree with that. I'm not a big Louis Riddick guy. I'm just not. I think he's been out of the league too long. Actually scouting and doing all this. I know he's doing it for ESPN, but I think that's a totally different situation than when you're looking at somebody for draft and free agency and all this stuff. If he had an assistant that was better and had a really good scouting department, maybe that would be better. He's a good name, and I like that. I think we need to have a strong name and a strong GM, and I think he could bring that to us, but I think he needs a little assistance. C. Perry, I think Quinn didn't get a fair shot. Name one better GM in 20 years. He brought tons of talent to this team that a lot of folks are excited about. I don't know what you're watching. I don't understand. Name one. Martin Mayhew. Brought in Matt Stafford, Dominican Sue, and Calvin Johnson. So I just named one in the last 20 years.
Bro, I thought TJ was under Matt Millen.
Nope. That was the first year.
Was that first one?
Oh, maybe it was.
No,
you might be right. He didn't bring in Calvin. He brought in Sue and Stafford. That's right.
Sue and Stafford. Some of the talent that he's brought in hasn't really panned out. I mean, it's one thing to be excited about guys, but if it doesn't transfer to performance on the field, that's another thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Carry-on Johnson.
He hits on, Kenny Galladay was a gem.
Yep.
No, and I would say he had, a couple of gems in there, but like his higher picks, and TJ Hawkinson, I think he was, people think he was, drafted too high, but he is a really good talent. He is actually the leading vote getter right now in the NFC for the Pro Bowl. So,
that'd be great. It'd be great to get some people in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. So, I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's as broad as you think it is there, C. Perry. But, everybody has their opinion. But, hey, thanks for the comment. Rod Love 313. What's up, Rod Love? For GM, Adam Peters, VP of Player Personnel for the 49ers, Rob Salah as the coach, and bring in either Mike McDonald, run game coordinator, or Matt LaFleur, pass game coordinator, as the OC.
That's very interesting. I like Adam Peters. Does he want to leave Saleh as a head coach? Sorry about that.
Salah.
I like that. And then if you got the head coach, you bring in Mike McDaniel. I have no problem with this right now.
That is a very good take, Rod Love. But that's some good stuff right there, brother.
Dr. Detroit, the doctor is in. Pass on Lewis, no thank you. Millen times 2, never did anything. Like we need another financial person, LOL. This organization already has too many. Dodds is real interesting to me. I agree with you. I'm with you on Riddick. I don't like him as a GM, as a lot of people do. It's a big name around. I think Dodds is extremely interesting, helping build Seattle and what he's done with the Colts and just being able to recognize talent, which is not easy around here.
It's going to be a hard pull to get that guy out of Indy, though.
It will. I agree. I don't think we're getting either of them.
It's going to be hard. All right. Next up, Cade Bain. He wrote this in all caps, so I'm going to read it with the enthusiasm. Breaking news: Detroit Lions planning on hiring Jim Harbaugh to coach the Detroit Lions. No joke. I
can see this because Sheila in the press conference and later even said that we're open to someone being GM and head coach. Now, who comes to mind when you think about someone who's a coach and already is like recruiting and doing all that right now and had a problem with his general manager in the NFL?
That would be Mr. Harbaugh himself. He fits the description.
Sure fits.
So, it's, and we'll talk about him in a little bit. We'll talk about him as a GM candidate.
He's up for debate today. So
he's up for debate today. We'll get to him in a little bit, Kate.
You Florid says, I love both of them. Sign the one who wants to be here quick so they can start working on bringing in Eric Bieniemy. I like your take, man.
Yeah, that's what's
I like Eric Bieniemy, though.
I do like Eric Bieniemy. All right, last one. Keanu Bowen says, this is officially my favorite Lions channel. I'll be rocking with you guys from now on. Well, thanks, Keanu. We really appreciate them kind words that you bestowed upon us, and we enjoy bringing you this content right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. All right, next up, it is time to really talk about the presser from yesterday. It was an interesting conversation that Darrell Bevell had with the media, along with the back end. The second part was Matthew Stafford. So if you really watched the press conference yesterday, Bevell had an interesting take. One thing that stuck out for me, Jim, and you can comment on this after us, he said he wanted the players to get back to having fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of stuck out to me. Like, the players were kind of in like, what do you call that? being held hostage. Like they were like their fun was taken away from them.
They got the ping pong table taken away from them, and all this stuff. Yeah,
like they weren't able to relax and enjoy. Because it's one thing to work hard, but what's the old adage? If you work hard, you play hard.
Play hard.
So you can't be business 100% of the time.
I agree with you on that. There was some body language stuff that I seen in this press conference. So I'm going to bring up one point about Bevell. When he was kind of asked about, and I'm paraphrasing, if the offense was kind of held back or something, that's what they were trying to get at by Matt Patricia. He just smiled and said, we'll see. We'll see what it's going to be, coming forward. But he had a big smile on his face when he said that. A lot of times you can't get the actual... they can't say it, but the body language can't be hidden. So that's stuff we look for.
Interesting story about how you found out that he was going to be the interim coach and that the guys that got fired. He was at the glass blowing area in the Henry Ford Museum, and he's with the daughter-in-law. I mean, the daughters and the daughter's boyfriends, and he kind of. I mean, it's an interesting. It's just kind of off because I have a daughter who's married, and Jim, you have adult children as well. Yep. The boyfriends had asked him during this trip to, for it, but they hadn't proposed. So I hope he didn't let the cat out of the bag in the press conference yesterday that the guys
right. That's what I thought
too. But that's an interesting, to bring it up in the press conference. But but that tells you that it's a personal kind of thing for him. And he's not taking this situation lightly. It's a 5-game audition for him. That's how he's taking it. Yeah. He just spoke a couple of weeks ago about having the opportunity to be a head coach. Now, am I politicking for him to be the coach of the Lions? Hell no.
Me neither. Here's an interesting take too, is that he talked to management, and management said that yes, they would consider him at the end of the season. I mean, obviously, you're going to consider him if he's going to win 5 games.
Shoot your shot, baby. You can't get nothing for that. Closed mouths don't get fed. And he's been wanting to be a head coach for a while. So why not take your shot, baby? I agree with him 100%. Don't be shy. If you want something, you got to go for it. Yeah. Am I particularly, think he's the top candidate for me? Not so much. But hey, we have, and I'm wearing the same hat he had on the press conference yesterday. So, it is what it is. Now, another guy that
go ahead, yeah,
that talked yesterday. Well, we could finish up with but you know what though?
I was going to transition into Stafford.
So another guy that talked yesterday was Matthew Stafford, and he just had a disdain for some of the questions. His body language was a little bit tenser yesterday. And I think that he took some of the questions that they were asking about Matt Patricia getting relieved a little personal. Like they were like kind of asking me like, oh, are you ready to, move on? And, is it going to change, and, how are you feeling about it? Like, it was going to be happy, joy for Matthew Stafford. I don't think he really, that really didn't come off. It was like he took that as a personal thing for him that, maybe some of his play got his coaches fired.
I saw something completely different than I expected out of this. I expected Stafford to be happy, to be honest with you. The reports were that he didn't get along with Patricia and all this other stuff. I did not see that in that body language. No. I saw that he did not want him fired. This is what I saw. I mean, everybody else has the right to their opinion as well. But he looked sad. He genuinely looked upset. He genuinely looked actually angry in parts of that press conference. It looked like he did not want to be there. He got out as quick as he could. I thought he was hurting, not only because of his performance. I don't think he wanted them fired. Yeah. I really don't.
I just think that, I think he takes losing personally, and with the fact that maybe some of the losses were the cause of, and his play in particular may have caused the firing of Patricia and Bob Quinn. So I think he takes it personally. He doesn't like to lose, and I think he feels at fault. Now, do I think he will just be a professional, man up, and go out there and play and always play his hardest? I think that's one thing he will do.
Maybe I'm looking too deep into this, but when he used to talk about Patricia and the whole thing, he used to refer to everything as we. And when he talked about Bevell, it was he and him and his attitude. I am not so sure that he likes Bevell. I mean, I'm not convinced that he likes him.
He may not. He may not. And the one thing I'm interested to see is that how much influence did Patricia have on the game plan on the offense? We know what he did on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah. But if you look at last season, the team was a lot more open on offense. Stafford was having a career year before he got injured. So I wonder if we can go back to that. And maybe that's the we'll see part of what Bevell's comments were yesterday. So, all right, let's get into these candidates. Jim, why don't you talk about Mr. Peyton Manning himself?
Oh, I love Peyton Manning, but there's some pause about this. After I went and did the research, he's 44 years old. Of course, he's from the University of Tennessee. He's been married since 2001 and has 2 children, Marshall and Mosley. Why is that important? Family man, family values. I like that idea, He's a former quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts and Denver Broncos. Of course, he played 18 seasons in the year. Here's the problem. He has no experience in the front office whatsoever. None. But it's not unprecedented. We talked about Mike Mayock before, and he's pretty successful. And we also, jumping from the GM role with no prior experience, we have John Lynch, the GM of the San Francisco 49ers. Or no, he comes out, And so we need to look at that and say, okay, it's possible. All right. What certain people are saying about him, and these are Bill Polian, former GM of the Indianapolis Colts. He said he's certainly more qualified than a lot of people doing the job. I'm like, wow. See, that kind of blows me away. Ozzie Newsome, who we know is a great GM.
Great GM,
out of Baltimore. You know what? He does have all the traits to be a good leader. Yes, I think he has all the traits and characteristics, and anything that he applies himself to, he's done a great job at that. And you know what? I think that's true. I think anything that he puts his mind to, he can do.
That's very true.
So he's reportedly considering a return to the NFL as a general manager as soon as this upcoming season. That is per Jay Glazer of Fox Sport as it pertains to his interest in the jobs that may be coming out. He was heavily recruited by the Jets last year, but nothing came to fruition out of that. I think he's going to be recruited again by them this year. He's heavily recruited this year by them. Sounds like Manning hasn't ruled out joining an NFL front office, but he hasn't ruled out the potential of becoming a television commentator. ESPN has reached out to him several times and wanted him to be a TV personality. I think he's just trying to stay involved and stay close to the game, but not be in the game right now. He has 2 5-year-old twins, so that's probably what's going on here. Just trying to be the family guy right now. A quote of his right now is, "I think it's funny to be up for a lot of jobs. I don't really get to confirm or get asked about it, but I like listening."
That's good. That's a good quote.
Do I think he has any chance to be the GM of the next GM of the Detroit Lions? And here's the reasoning I like the hire. If we can get him, I would pair him with somebody who has experience in the scouting department in the NFL. Vast experience. Somebody who's probably either a director of player personnel somewhere right now to be the assistant GM or maybe even a co-GM situation. I know that sounds crazy, but I think this is a good idea. Peyton Manning could get a little bit, maybe 5-10% ownership in the Lions, become the face of the franchise, and start to change the overall look of how people perceive the Detroit Lions in the national media. I like it because of that point, and from that standpoint, I don't think he's going to come here. I really don't. I don't think he said it also that he would have to be all in. That it's not just you could dip your toe in the water and that's it. He knows that it's a job that he has to be all in, and I don't think that's what Peyton Manning wants to do. I think he wants to be part owner of a team or the owner of a team. I'm not sure he's going to be GM. But if he is, I think he's a good fit here just because of changing the culture as in how we're perceived by the rest of the NFL. Now, we have another favorite candidate, and this one we talked about earlier in our comment cards. We're going to go to Curt with a full breakdown of Jim Harbaugh.
Okay, Jim Harbaugh is 56 years old. He went to the University of Michigan. He is currently the head coach of the University of Michigan, former NFL quarterback, head coach at University of San Diego, Stanford, and the San Francisco 49ers. He has his second marriage in 2006, 7 children. Woo. James,
him
Grace,
and Phillip Rivers, man.
Yeah. But most of his children are adult children now. You have, James, Grace, Addison, Catherine, Jack, and John. And Jack and John, of course, are named after his brother and his father. All right. So looking at his experience, he has no front office experience, but he was a good college recruiter. If you look at his college recruiting classes at the University of Stanford, we'll look at, he was number 50 nationally in 2009. In 2010, he had the number 20 class. In 2009, he had the number 20 class and number 26 in 2010 at Stanford. Now going to the University of Michigan, which is his most current, 2016, he had the number 4 class. 2017, he had a number 4 class. 2018, he had the 24th national rate class, top 10 again in 2019 at number 10. And then the 2020 class was nationally ranked at number 11, which means he knows how to get talent. Now that's a lot different talent pool from picking up high school recruits than it is from getting pro players. Now but it does give him a type of a GM and a college level type of experience being a recruiter. He is not really looked at on some levels as being a GM. Now, what they're saying is that he may be looking to return to the NFL next season. This reports out of the University of Michigan, as far as the press is covering the team. They says now he's in the next year is his last year of his contract. He has no negotiations for an extension on the horizon as of now. Now, one member of media from Fox Sports said that the Lions should be looking at Jim Harbaugh as a replacement for Matt Patricia, not Quinn. He is a proven winner as a coach in the NFL at San Francisco. The Lions need that in a head coach, not a first-time head coach. This is from Rob Parker. I was paraphrasing Rob Parker. He said they need a proven winner in Detroit to come in and take the helm. They don't need a first-time guy. They need somebody who knows how to coach. And he says Jim Harbaugh is the perfect candidate for that job. Now, let's go into some of his quotes, right? Now, this is a quote, and it is dear and dear to our hearts here at Detroit, being Lions fans, right? And this is the quote he had after the post-game handshake and altercation with Jim Schwartz back a few years ago. That. He said, I think I shook his hand too hard. I mean, I really went in and it was strong and a kind of a slap grab handshake. So that was on me. Personally, I can get better at that post-game handshake and we'll attempt to do that. I don't think that there's any reason for an apology. We spoke about it after the game. At some point, we will talk in private. Apologies always seem to me like excuses. Wow. That's a strong quote. All right. And then here's one of his kind of like the things that kind of give you to his mind frame as a coach or somebody who's a leader. He says, hustling at all times. Be better today than yesterday and be better tomorrow than today. So you can kind of see his mindset. But most individuals aren't talking about him in the GM realm. They're talking about him as the next head coach of the Lions. A possibility. Now, the media in Michigan, some people are thinking it's a natural fit. Other people like, well, he sucks at Michigan and we don't want our Lions to suck again. So we don't want him as our head coach. But he was pretty good at San Francisco and he turned that franchise around. But we're going to talk about him on as a head coaching candidate down the line. Do I really think that he's a really candidate for the GM by himself? No, but he could be a candidate for a GM / head coach. Now, that has worked for some people not so well. You look at Bill Belichick has had great success as the GM and coach of the New England Patriots, but guess what? He's not doing that hot this year. Looking at Bill O'Brien, who had the same role out there in Houston, and where is he at right now? He is on the couch watching with the rest of us. So at the bad start of the season, making some bad personnel moves, and who trades away DeAndre Hopkins for the running back out of Arizona? I can't even remember his name right now. David Johnson. I'm not a really big proponent of head coaching and GMs, having that same. I'm always a believer in separation of duties. So, but if it happens, it happens. I know Sheila Ford Hemp says that she's open to that, but maybe she needs to rethink that. That's just my opinion. I'm not a big fan of it, but if it happens, it happens.
I'm not a big fan of Harbaugh right now. He hasn't done very well at Michigan, number one. He's been on the NFL a long time. And why is he different from Patricia again? You just brought in a guy that's like a really tough guy, militaristic type run camp, and you're going to bring in the same guy in a way, the same personality at least. Is he a better coach? Heck yeah. I think we could have hired like an actor to become the coach, and that would have been better. But I don't
remember
really
the Titans
think,
get Denzel.
Leave Denzel, man. Coach Boone. That's what we're gonna do. But you know what I'm saying, though. I don't like this fit. A lot of people do. Send him to Chicago. That's the big rumor over there. And let's
I see that.
I agree with that.
I see that a lot. I see the Harbaugh to the Bears. He was their quarterback. He was supposed to play in Detroit for one season, and I'm thinking it never really, materialized. But I don't see him. I don't see him coming to Detroit as well.
All right, so I'm going to go to my favorite thing of the day for right now. And my favorite part of this show is the dessert with Curt. Go ahead, Curt.
Now, today's tasty morsels are a follow-up to yesterday's. So we're going to add a little sugar on top to the tasty morsels from yesterday. Now, as of Sunday, there were 1,070 donations from Lions fans to the Deshaun Watson charity, and the de facto contribution donation was $13 each for one of the wins of Matt Patricia.
Oh, wow.
So that is your tasty morsels on top of the ones from yesterday. Big shout out to the Lions fans for giving to his charity. That is so savage and so Detroit. So
it is awesome. We have the best fans in the entire world, I swear.
Yeah,
I swear we have the best fans. That's
and
amazing.
Please, if you're watching this show, if you're one of those individuals that contributed to that charity, please let us know in the comments. We want to hear that from you.
We would love to. We'll put that on the comment cards.
Because we're definitely going to put it on the comment cards. If you're watching and you have contributed, please, again, comment down below.
All right, we're going to go to the question of the day. And the question of the day is do you want a GM without prior experience, like prior front office experience, like the two people that we had today? Do you think it's okay to hire somebody with no experience? It's happened before in the NFL. Give me your take in the comments below. And now I'm going to go to Curt to take us home.
Hey, thank you for joining us today, people. We really appreciate you viewing our show. And if it's your first time or not your first time and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell, like the video, and share it with your friends. Share it on your social media, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, anywhere you want to share it, Twitter, Instagram. We appreciate you sharing it and helping us get this content to more Lions fans just like yourself. We'll be back tomorrow with another two candidates for GM. And you know what you got to do. Whatever you do in life, you got your boss up. ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my man Jim, right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl, this is Curt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon.